If you're interested in playing a rogue class in Diablo 4 and new to the game, just like many other players just starting in the game, here is a casual, friendly and a lot more accessible, hopefully, explanation of, in my humble opinion, a better build out of two really prolific rogue builds. We are playing a rogue. Rogue is a melee character in this particular case. You're gonna be stabby mostly. Yeah, we are not going to do a ranged rogue this time as I did in beta, and things have changed since beta. It's gonna be next time perhaps for us. So what I'm going with, everyone who's playing a melee rogue right now, if you watched a few other videos on YouTube, talks about the skill called Twisting Blades. We are not doing that, spoiler alert, today. They are talking about Twisting Blades. We are not doing that. For the first skill, you're going to take the ranged, very convenient, good, nice spread skill, easy to use at range, Puncture. If it's too dangerous close to the opponent, it is perfect because you will reach, you will pull from the distance, you will, you know, kind of spray them a little bit with these almost shurikens, except I think that's knives that our character is throwing. And there is such a thing in Diablo 4 is vulnerability. So this throw is also going to make the enemies vulnerable, which means that they will take more damage from your other hits. Your next big thing is going to be, no, not Twisting Blades, it's going to be Flurry. Flurry is fantastic, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's fun to use. Second of all, it's instantly gratifying. At first, it is a cone attack in front of you. So it's kind of a flurry of stabs and slashes. It's literally what it looks like. It's awesome to see. It's awesome, kind of very visceral, very good feel. It capitalizes on vulnerable enemies because it spreads vulnerability among others if you hit at least one vulnerable enemy. It does a lot of damage, and it gets even better with what? Early on, you will come across a dungeon, my friends, and in those dungeons, what happens in Diablo 4 is you have this Codex of Power. Codex of Power is kind of like a library of useful abilities that you're going to learn. You're either gonna obtain them on the legendary gear, which you don't have yet because you're a beginner and you're just starting out, or you will learn those abilities by primarily completing dungeons, at least early on in the game, at least from what I've discovered. So when you go into your Codex of Power, you can see that we have this blade dances aspect that I have. It's for Twisting Blades. It kind of changes the ability a little bit. And here, early on, by doing Forsaken Quarry dungeon in Fractured Peaks, early on, not as late as Blade Dances aspect in Jalal's Vigil in Skosglen, you need to still get there, yeah? So this alone makes it a much better ability. So this aspect, if you are imprinting it on your yellow rare equipment, yeah, with your occultist in town, which is exactly what you should do as soon as you learn it, Flurry will start damaging enemies in a circle around you as opposed to just only in one direction. So it's going to be a lot easier to use and a lot easier to position yourself, which makes it, once again, much more beginner friendly, and it also will do more damage. So this thing, as well as just the use of the right ability, is going to be exactly what will make this build so much better for you, in my humble opinion. Alright, so you're gonna take Flurry, you're going to copy my whole build, by the way, in the description to this video. It will take you to a website, you can take a closer look at it, you will be able to copy it properly. That's why I'm sort of blitzing past the secondary abilities here, not stopping on those, but you can always ask questions in the comments below, I will be happy to answer. For getting out of bed, rather than doing damage, so just mobility, yeah, just a mobility ability is going to be dash. That's what you're going to take. The defense, your defense, primary defense, is going to be Dark Shroud. Dark Shroud speeds you up with augmentation. Here I've taken the speedy subverting Dark Shroud, and Dark Shroud reduces the damage that you take from direct hits. How good is that? That's fantastic. Now we will come back to the Poison Trap, and you will say to me, Gyro, what a noob, why are you taking Poison Trap and you're using also a shadow version of a trap? I will tell you in a second. So we're also taking Shadow Imbuement. I will explain this in a second. We keep going down here, and these are your ultimates. You can have only one ultimate because the ultimates are limited. You can create Shadow Clone, which I'm not a fan of. If you're ranged, you will use Rain of Arrows. I'm not ranged. Or you have Death Trap, which does shadow damage. Death Trap will also occupy obviously one of the slots on your action bar. So we have to take an ultimate. Out of these ultimates, guess what? There is no poison ultimate, so we have to take a shadow ultimate. So you will take Death Trap. You see the action on the screen and it's fantastic. It pulls the enemies in. It does a lot of damage. Modifiers to your shadow damage apply to it. Yada yada yada. It's fantastic. So we're going to, for AoE, for trash, for other kind of stuff, we're going to be using Death Trap most of the time. However, Death Trap explodes, it creates explosions, it pulls the enemies and explodes. However, if you're dealing with a tough boss, it is of no use to us. I mean, it does damage, it does direct damage, but not as much. First of all, not as much as poison does. And second of all, yeah, it's just not single target orientated. It's an AoE orientated thing. Same as with Shadow Imbuement, but we have to take only one of them. I couldn't take Poison Imbuement, even though I enjoyed it early in the game when I was playing with it. So we are using Shadow Imbuement to kind of just, yeah, make our shadow damage a lot more potent, and we're also boosting Shadow Crash, Shadow Damage. It's a shadow orientated build. However, for bosses specifically, for bosses, we're still investing a few points into Poison Trap, because Poison Trap also takes a moment to activate, but then it applies poison damage to that single target that boss typically is, and it's ticking on the boss. And this enhanced Poison Trap, it also knocks down enemies even if you need to use it on AoE. So it is a split build, not super optimized. I'm still leveling, as you can see, but so far I've seen enough to tell you the most important message here. It is not even about super optimization, min-maxing of which trap to use. It is about not swaying toward Twisting Blades, because every other guide, 90% of guides out there will tell you go Twisting Blades. I am telling you, do not bother. The augmentation of that thing, making it better, making it circle around you, is harder to control. It takes a lot longer to just even learn to get to that dungeon in Scots Glen, but you will get Flurry, and you will get the ability that makes you hit everything around you a lot sooner. So this is the core of this build. The end passive, kind of ultimate key passive here, you can have only one of them. It's a very simplified kind of game compared to Path of Exile, compared to even Diablo 3, I would say. It's a lot simpler, this system. I've taken currently Exposure, which is about direct damage to an enemy affected by a trap that reduces the cooldowns and stuff like this, but you could have gone with Victimize, because we are making enemies vulnerable with our Throw of Knives, the very first ability that we took, and this also, when we continue doing the direct damage to a vulnerable enemy, it has a chance to cause an explosion. As you can see, this particular build is a leveling build. It is capable against bosses thanks to the Poison Trap, but ultimately it's about exploding and doing AoE damage wherever you can. So that is kind of what it is about. I hope this helped you in case you are looking for a very easy, maybe alternative build to some of those expert provided builds. Let me know in the comments down below if Flurry specifically, Flurry versus Twisting Blades. If Flurry works better for you than Twisting Blades, it definitely works better for me, and I tested both and spent thousands of gold respecking. Yes, I have. I like to play games, exploring things myself, rather than just taking a build from MaxRollGG or wherever else you're getting your builds from, such as yours truly. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the start of Diablo 4 adventure. Come back for more unpretentious, beginner-friendly, casual-friendly guides. And yes, my World of Warcraft content also continues. If you're playing both games, you're going to be getting both benefits. If you're just playing only one game, keep coming back in. There will be still content for both World of Warcraft players and Diablo 4 players as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll be speaking with you about something else, Diablo 4 or World of Warcraft related, very soon. Goodbye for now.